Today we talk to Shreekant Kulkarni, who is trying to transform not only the blockchain mining industry, but the entire carbon pollution industry by making carbon 500 times cheaper to capture than the current state of the art. We also talk about the state of the crypto industry and how to build a better society and whether you even need a bank account anymore.
The Earth is paying a price for our actions. World is worried about power consumption of cryptocurrency mining. At Greenhashes, we are changing this. Our gigafarms will run on 100% solar plus battery. Integrated carbon capture systems make us the world's first carbon-negative mining farm. Combine this with reforestation and incentivizing green actions. We'll make sure crypto becomes and remains green. Greenhashes. Earn profits while protecting the environment.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Castoshi, and today we have Shreekant Kulkarni of Greenhashes. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, Greenhashes is the correct name.
Okay, and did I get your name right?
Yeah, the name was also correct. You pronounced it perfectly.
Okay, great.
But for simplicity, you can call me Shri if you want.
Okay, Shri. Okay, great. Okay, so could I first ask you, what problem does Greenhashes solve?
Yeah, so I came across Bitcoin at around 2016 or something like that. And I started calculating, somehow I just thought of calculating the amount of energy being consumed for the Bitcoin mining around 2017 or something like that. And we all know that around that time, a lot of mining was happening from China, right? Very, very few miners outside China existed. So I was able to calculate the emissions that were going. The reason behind the emissions was this mining, and I was able to calculate the amount of emissions per block mined. And I compiled a white paper regarding this, and then I published it for the greenhashes.org. So the main problem that we are trying to solve is we need to take sustainable approach towards mining also now. And I think 2022 was a clear year where a lot of tech leaders started thinking about the same issue. So I think I was slightly early in that as well. But anyways, the main problem that we are trying to solve is the problem is not the energy consumption of Bitcoin is not the problem. The source of that energy is the problem. So if you're using a coal-fired power plant for a mining farm, then that is one of the worst things that you can do, right? So for this mining farms, we are trying to build world's first carbon negative mining farm. So our goal is not to be just carbon neutral. We are trying to take it a step further and build a carbon negative mining farm.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting what you said, because it's not the energy usage, it's the source of that energy. I agree, because I mean there's a few issues there, because when you look at the energy usage of Bitcoin, you have to also say, for what Bitcoin provides, and a lot of cryptos provide, as a like financial infrastructure, you have to say what you're comparing it to. So if you compare it to the traditional financial industry, the traditional financial industry probably uses 10 or 20 times the power of Bitcoin and the whole crypto. Yes,
but nobody has actually compiled a foolproof data about this, because there is so many steps involved with cash actually, right? So there are huge printing presses which are pumping out cash, and then there is logistics involved. Many a times you need to ship those cash bills from at least around 1,000 miles or something like that, and then it has to be distributed to all the ATM machines and other banks also. So these things are never considered, right? Even a single ATM machine, it is also sitting inside a small room which is air conditioned. So we never consider all these kind of energy data. But and anyways, it is really difficult to gather all the data about this. But surely it is consuming the normal financial system, and even gold mining is also consuming a lot of energy, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But if we already are trying to build something better, which is decentralized, then why not go for renewable energies, right? It will give us even better shot at getting this world, uh, making this world a better place.
Uh, I think I agree. I mean, the thing is, whatever you do, it should be renewable energy. You know, even
Yeah,
not just crypto.
of course, of
But
course.
then, yeah. I guess part of it is that if you mine Bitcoin, I mean, you can even mine it with dirty energy and have it efficient. For example, if you put it close to like when they take oil out of the ground or electricity stations, there's a lot of wasted electricity, and that could also be used to
Yes.
To mine Bitcoin. And some people even say that because there's a competition to mine Bitcoin cheaper, it's an incentive to actually make cheaper electricity.
True. I agree with this. See, price point at which we are buying the electricity or generating electricity for our mining farm, it's a very, very, very sensitive matter, right? Because the most expenditure that any miner makes is on the electricity, right?
Mm.
If we can get hands on our latest hardware, yeah, hardware is also costly if you're going for the latest models, but it is not the biggest investment in the long run, right? So if you buy solar panels, many of them, they actually come with 15 years of warranty and service quality assurance. So 15 years is a long time if you consider Bitcoin mining. The whole cryptocurrency industry is not even 15 years old right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so it really makes sense to use cheapest sources of energy, but we are living in an age where being responsible for what we have done and what we are about to do, in terms of we have to hand over this planet to our next generation, and the next generation will be actually staring at us if we give them a planet where wearing masks is mandatory, right?
Are you talking
Having
about COVID masks, or are you talking about? So, yeah,
see,
it's true. Yeah,
if the particulate matter pollution, even the place where I'm sitting right now, the readings are around 100, and that is not exactly something we should
yeah,
be exposing our children to. So if we normally check out these air quality monitors, uh, right now it is suggested that I should keep all the windows and doors closed. It should be air conditioned, and I should have an air purifier in every room. That is mandatory. No outside activity allowed. Children should not play outside. So these are the basic suggestions that are for my city right now. And
that's in India,
this
right?
is
That's in India, is it?
yeah.
Yeah, I've lived in
So
India, and I agree with that. Is the air is so bad, you just don't
yes,
want to go out
we
sometimes.
had to shut down schools in Delhi, the capital of India, for at least I think it was couple of weeks,
Mm.
because of the very high quantity of air pollution. And it totally got unnoticed that the city I was living in, the pollution levels were not that low as compared to Delhi. And here our children were playing in the outside air, and people are jogging around,
Yeah.
aged
I mean,
aged people trying to walk outside. So this is the kind of reality that I was trying to avoid when I thought of greenhashes.org. Okay, and if I will actually try to mail you the brochure that I printed for the first time. I think it was 2017, and it showed two images, and there were only two images. There were children wearing masks, walking on the street. They were going to school. They were wearing school uniforms, and that was case A, scenario A. And scenario B, I had a whole family playing around in a very green neighborhood, or rather very green countryside, and everybody was very happy. So my question was simple: what do we need for our children? What are we planning for our children? Complete chaos and forced masks. Now people are wearing masks for a totally different reason now, but at that time I was considering that actually my children were playing outside and wearing masks since 2018 because of this particulate matter pollution. So I
mm.
didn't want that to happen to other people or my grandchildren, and that is the reason I was so passionate about this issue.
Okay. I mean, I mean, it's something I'm passionate about. I mean, I'll admit though, if you say to the general population, like I know a lot of people who say they're green, and as soon as you show them what they have to be green, they don't want to do it. They say, no, I'm just going to recycle paper. Because, for example, if you want to be green, you shouldn't eat meat, you shouldn't drive a car, you shouldn't. And people are saying, no, but I love meat. I love my hamburgers. Yeah. And as soon as you say, yeah, but do you know how much waste goes into that hamburger? They say, oh, but it's different, but it tastes so good. Yeah. and I was saying, and that's the hypocrisy I find in the green movement. And
yes.
I'm not saying it against you, but I'm saying also with the ESG, movement globally. ESG, for people who don't know, is like it's the corporate. It's like environment sustainability. What does it stand for? ESG? I've forgotten.
ESG.
It's like 1 second. Let me just look it up. ESG. ESG stands for it's like sustainable. Sustainable company.
That's the first line in our goal, that we want to try for sustainable development through responsible mining. That is our goal.
Okay. I understand that. I'm just checking here. What is it actually?
We have a saying in our in my native language, that is Marathi, which says that Shivaji Janmava Shezarcha Ghari, which simply translated to English means a superhero or a big Maharaja who changed the world. It's always better if he is born in our neighbor's house, not in our house. So everybody wants,
if someone else has to fix it.
Yes, somebody else should fix it. So if you want to know how I am living right now, I don't I've not bought any cars yet.
Okay.
Not a single one. None of my homes or my offices are not air conditioned. I try to use.
It must be hot then. It must be hot in India if it's not air conditioned.
Even right now it is hot, but it's around 11 p.m. here, but it's still hot. Anyways, and I try to plant as many trees as possible. I have like 11 different types of roses in my balcony, one place. And during the lockdowns, I spent at least around 2 months trying to fix our society's garden. And so these are the things that I live with. I take walks, I go by bicycle, I prefer electric vehicles. I know there's a complication about that subject as well. EVs, manufacturing, and exactly, are we actually avoiding emissions or creating more? But one day or the other, we will have to make this transition towards cleaner sources of energy, right? I have a 12-year-old bike that I ripped apart. I threw engine away, I threw that exhaust away, and I converted into electric bike. And so this is who I am.
So you live it. You're saying that you live it. Yes. You're saying okay. So okay. By the way, ESG means environmental, social, and governance. And okay. So I see that you live it. But what I was saying was that the problem with a lot of ESG is what companies do is they do environmental advertising, where they put a poster up at work and they say, "Oh, put your." They say like I was at a company, and they literally had so much pollution. But to make people feel good about it at work, they said reuse your plastic coffee cup. Which made no difference at all, actually. And that's a sort of and that plays a big thing with Bitcoin, because a lot of companies won't invest simply because they think it's dirty, even though they want to buy in, because they're not allowed to invest in things that. It's not even if I think Bitcoin's very efficiently mined myself, because I think a lot of it is moving to renewables, but just the appearance of not being done in a correct way means companies don't want to invest. I mean, that was one part, and the other part you mentioned earlier was about cheaper mining. Mining, and I know even Intel's getting into it, and they're saying they're going to be able to do mining 1,000 times cheaper. But the problem is when they do that, the hash rate's going to go up.
The difficulty.
It doesn't actually make a difference, and everyone's going to have an Intel chip. That's all.
Of course. And within 2 weeks, the difficulty will readjust.
Yeah, exactly. And all it'll do is it'll put a lot of miners out of business, and they'll have to buy Intel. You know. So okay. So I think we understand what problem you're gonna solve. The next part. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the next stage is we are not going to stop at building a carbon neutral mining farm. We are going a step ahead and building carbon negative. How are we going to achieve that? We have developed our own carbon capture system. Okay. Right now we are in the process of revising it and finalizing the designs and the capture system is ready. We can demonstrate our carbon capture capacity right now also, but we are trying to build it in a way that is more presentable. Okay. And we are waiting for some lab results, and when everything is ready we will be presenting that. So we are going to mine with renewables powered by grid scale energy solutions, then installing carbon capture systems inside the mining farm. So we will be capturing CO2 from the ambient air, trying to remove pollution that our ancestors have created, or maybe I have created, I don't know. And captured carbon dioxide will be stored for some time, and once we are ready for the next stages, it is going to be processed for the next stages, which is going to be artificial diamond manufacturing. It is very ambitious goal, but I think the technology is getting ready. We are getting there.
Okay, so does this mean that is it fair to say that this is a technology you can use outside of Bitcoin mining as well?
Yes. So initially we are going to do it for ourselves, the carbon capture part, and then we want to do carbon capture as a service for the mining farms. Right now, if you know, if you have been following carbon credits markets, I started Greenhash at that time. One carbon credit was around $1.5 or something like that, and if you pull down the price right now, it's about 12 euros. So it's around 40. It's pretty costly as compared to when I started it out. And this is not going to stop. This is going to go beyond $200 or something like that within the next 3 to 4 years. So this is only if you consider the profitability part. If we can capture carbon, we can issue carbon credits, and we will be making profits in that way as well. But carbon capture as a service for other mining farms is also a very big idea, because 2021, a lot of carbon credits were bought by miners because they didn't want to get kicked out of the particular country. Just like
you've actually developed a carbon capture technology, but the first use case is for Bitcoin farms, basically. Okay, right. That makes sense. And so this is something you've developed yourself, or is this?
Yeah, we have developed it in-house.
Okay, so this is actually what you're selling in a way.
Yes.
So you haven't actually built your own miners, but you haven't built miners.
No, we are not building miners. We'll be ordering them. But the design of our mining farm is going to be so specific, and it is going to be so optimized that it is totally modular. And again, the second part is that we are going to capture carbon out of thin air, which is being done by other companies, but the costs at which they are working per ton of carbon dioxide absorbed is beyond imagination. That is not something that can be worked out at a large scale. And our daily goal is going to be bigger than a lot of companies' yearly capacities.
Okay. So are you testing this in industrial settings at the moment? Or?
We are testing this not at scale right now. We are at a very small scale right now. Once our design is refined, and once our internal team says that, okay, we can actually expand this, let's build instead of 3, let's build 20 products and then 20 devices, and let's then take it outside. Because once the genie is out of bottle, it is out of bottle, right? Because this carbon capture system doesn't only have implementations or usage in the mining farm. It can be used in our normal environment, right? None of the air purifying systems that we buy right now, they don't capture carbon dioxide.
Right? But companies have tried to capture carbon dioxide before. What is the closest anyone has got?
There are like companies like Carbon Engineering, and there are other things also. There used to be around 7 to 8 startups in carbon capture. Now I feel like there are 3 or 4.
But is it because they haven't been able to do it economically, or it's just too expensive to buy?
They are pretty expensive. And my first idea in 2017 was to buy the devices from them and then install them at our mining farm. But the pricing was so high Now I think we have reduced the pricing by at least around 500 times.
Okay, so you've invented a novel way of doing it, patented, I hope, that you can.
Not yet. That's why we are not releasing the videos.
Okay, so you're experimenting, but you think you can do it a lot cheaper.
Yes, it's going to be a lot cheaper because the materials that we are using, they are one of the most abundant compounds available on any part of Earth. So it's top 10 compounds, one of the top 10 compounds we are using.
Okay, so if this works and you can get it to scale on Bitcoin mines, then you can actually you can roll this out to other industries, and you can basically solve a lot of the climate crisis.
We can help make cities a better place to live. Simply speaking, now all the scientists and all the data suggest that we are at 400 parts per million, right? But I have my own devices, and I have never seen that figure. 400. I've never seen that figure. Every time it is above 520, 540.
Which is dangerous. That's dangerous.
Yeah. It actually poses a very good question: that are we being lied to about actual figures?
Yes.
Right.
I'd say yes.
And again, none of the governments that I actually have seen, even India has its own air quality monitoring system, which was launched like I think 3 or 4 years ago. But that too actually combines all the data and creates a funny number, which doesn't say anything about anything. Okay. So why are we trying to hide the data behind that funny 3-figure number? Why can't we see directly what's the CO2 level at, what is the PM 2.5 level at, what is PM 5, PM 10? So if this data is actually revealed to the public, and if they go ahead and try to read World Health Organization's guidelines on it, they are never going to get out of their homes.
The problem is when people watch TV, they want to sit down and watch ZTV, and they don't care about the carbon in the air.
They are worried about the celebrity's son and daughter getting married and other things, but they're not worried about their own children and their own health.
I think part of it is also that people think that it's kind of a hopeless situation, and as you said earlier, it's someone else's problem. Yeah. Okay.
I just told you that superhero should be born in the neighbor's house. That is what everybody believes.
Okay, so I understand what Greenhashes is doing now. So you're making or experimenting, trying to get carbon capture 2 orders of magnitude cheaper, maybe more than current systems. Yes. Okay, so could we move on now? And could you give me could you tell me how you got started and go all the way back, and how did you get to this space? How did you get to this point in time?
Sure. So basically, I'm from information technology background, and I had around 8 to 9 years of experience in ERP systems, project management, overall IT infrastructure management, information system audits, purchase management, so change management. So overall, I had good experience in information technology. But the day my son was born, since then I was having this feeling that even though I reach any heights in this industry, it is not going to give any legacy to my son, right? So when my son was around 3 months old, I left the job and I started my own company within the next 6 months. And I named the company after my son. My son's name is Spandan. So Spandan means heartbeat. Okay. So I created Spandan Technologies Private Limited in India. It was 2016. And I wanted to build some products that nobody was even thinking about at that time. So I entered into religious e-commerce at that time. It's a very big industry in India, but it's
into what? Sorry, into what? Could you say it again?
Religious e-commerce. So
okay, what does that mean?
So for the rituals and other things, pujas that people want to conduct at their home, at their offices, we were going to provide them spiritual gurus and bhajis online bookings. So that is what I started in 2016. And I think, I was at least 6 years ahead of the market probably. And now we are getting some traction.
So that's still going, and it's
that's still alive. And I'm getting offers about that also. that there are many people who want to take over that project and they want to move forward with it. But I was building this ebudgie.com at that time. I had multiple other projects lined up after that, and then comes along Bitcoin, totally smashing my schedule, totally taking over my life like crazy. And this was like third time that I came across Bitcoin. Earlier I had came across Bitcoin when it was priced at around $5 or $6. I don't even remember that. It was during a party, and one of my friends were discussing about Bitcoin. And now I remember, now I know that he actually used to be a friend of all the early stage cryptocurrency adopters, and many of whom lost money, lost their Bitcoin to Mt. Gox. So now I can connect the dots. But at that point of time, I had no interest in it. I felt like, okay, this is like a dark web stuff. Let's not get involved in it. Again, second time he made it was around $100. Again, I did not feel like that. But when it was $300, 2016, 15, 16, I started getting really like, okay, this is something really powerful. Because when we say $1 is equal to 75 rupees, we feel that, okay, dollar is something stronger than rupee, right? And now I can see that one Bitcoin is equal to $300 or $400. So it started ringing a bell. Okay, we need to study this. But even at that point, I did not study it properly, and I ended up investing my very hard-earned money into mining scams, and I lost a lot of Bitcoin during that phase. But now I consider all the losses as the fees that I paid for getting myself educated in a better way. So so since I lost my Bitcoin to mining scams, I started studying it, and by 2017 I was training people in cryptocurrencies. Because if I had gotten a proper training about cryptocurrencies, what mining is, what kind of devices are used, if I had gotten that earlier, then probably I would never have invested in that mining scam. I would have started mining myself, right? So I started mining myself. I was mining Litecoin for some time. I was mining Dogecoin when it was not it was not exactly worth it, but I was mining Dogecoin even at that time. And by 2018, the market was so down that it was not profitable to mine it from India. Okay, at least in Maharashtra, where I live, the state, the electricity rates are pretty much exorbitant. You won't be able to survive if you're actually mining here. So I had to stop mining, but I still have all those devices, and whenever I feel like I switch them on, and I try to monitor them. And now the goal has actually changed. So since 2017, I have trained around 3,600 people in cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. I have advised some projects. I have helped some companies launch their own products. And right now, earlier the Greenhashes project was based out of India. But we waited, and there is still no clarity about cryptocurrency regulation in India. So on the Muhurat, or auspicious occasion of Environment Day 2021, I launched Kimaya Technologies LLC from US. So of course from Wyoming, which treats cryptocurrencies pretty well. So
so what was the purpose of what you launched in 2020?
2021.
2020. What was the purpose of that? Was that for?
I wanted to give project a little bit more clarity, because Indian company was not able to work in cryptocurrencies. The corporate banking accounts cannot be linked to exchange accounts in India. So that was some really sad stuff.
Okay, but was this because you said you were training people in crypto as well? And
yes.
Okay. So for your other crypto activities, okay.
Yes.
Okay, but Greenhashes was separate to that, wasn't it?
Yes. Greenhashes always remains separated from that. It is still, you can consider that we are still in the research phase. And this carbon negative mining, we are going to combine that with reforestation activities. And then the last point is going to be incentivizing green actions. So we are building a game in the metaverse where people will be able to log in. They will be able to do some activities which are going to save energy, which are going to be green activities, and they will be rewarded Greenhashes for that. anybody who is planning to replicate that action from the metaverse into physical world, they will be rewarded double green hashes, double the quantity. And
So can you give me an example of something they might do in the metaverse?
So in the metaverse, they can actually install solar panels on their bungalows. So if you are buying those solar panels, if you're installing them, you will start making some green hashes because you are avoiding emissions.
How will you make sure that how do you make sure that if they buy the NFT or whatever in the metaverse, that they actually do it in the real world?
Yeah, they will have to submit photographic proof of that.
Okay. So then they'll earn coin. Okay, cool. Okay.
Earlier, my idea was to only create one app and track all the physical activity. But now, since the boom in metaverse, I had this idea. Okay, why should we force people to do everything in physical world? Let them do it in the digital world first. Let them enjoy it, and if they are actually ready, they will come to the physical world and try to do it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess it's one of the it's one of the challenges of the metaverse is if you want to get someone to do an action in the virtual world that is copied in the physical world, how do you actually do that? And I suppose photographic proof is one way. Yeah, that's very interesting actually.
Along with we are going to incentivize people if they plant trees. That is also an idea.
And how do people, like, when you speak to like which sort of organizations are you speaking to about this, or is this something you're testing the ideas internally first?
Yeah, we are doing all this internally. Okay. We are almost ready with some of the concepts and some of the ideas, but we are still not going to launch them, at least for the next in the recent time, like 2 months. I don't see anything getting launched, but maybe if we feel like that one of the concepts is totally ready, we might launch it early.
Okay. And how are you funding all of this? Is this something you're funding yourself, or you have investors, or what?
Yeah, I've been funding this myself. In 2017, we were lucky enough to be part of some events. We sponsored some events. We were part of the blockchain cruise 2018. So during those events, I met a lot of people in cryptocurrency domain, and some of them were good enough to support the cause, support the idea, and they invested small quantities of Bitcoin at that time. And that took us through, like, at least supported us for 2 years. And now we are planning for a private pre-sale. So private pre-sale will be priced at a slightly higher rate than 2017 prices. But
is that with your own token, by the way? Is that with your own token? Your
it is Greenhash's token.
Okay, is that the Tulsi token? Is it
Tulsi? I have Tulsi is a long-term project.
Okay.
But earlier I have a plan of converting green hashes, because these are tokens, right? I wanted coins, so we wanted to launch our own blockchain.
Are you on your own blockchain itself?
Yeah. In future, we are going to replace all the green hashes with Tulsi. Tulsi will be a blockchain in itself.
Okay, but having your own blockchain, I mean, that's a much tougher thing to do, because then you have you need your own validators, and you need your own governance, and okay, so that's much all right.
That's my slightly long-term project. Tulsi is a long-term project.
Okay, so I think I understand what your like how you've got here then, and you've had quite a long journey, and it started with your son being born, which is nice. Could I move on and ask you about how? I mean, I know recently in the last few weeks that like I heard India saying, we're going to release our own CBDC coin in April. And first thing I thought is, what a load of rubbish. Am I the only person who's thinking that, or do other people think that the government is mad?
Yeah, many. Whenever I conduct my trainings since 2018, I've been saying this, that every damn government on the planet will be launching their own cryptocurrency. Every tech giant will launch their own cryptocurrency, or maybe form some funny alliances and create a private cryptocurrency and call it as a public blockchain.
Oh, you mean they'll have like an SQL database on the back end, and they'll call it a blockchain?
Of course. The blockchain that they will be using for the CBDC will be totally controlled by them. It will be centralized. It will be permissioned blockchain. It will not be a borderless stuff. And still they are trying to portray this private thing as if it has stamp of authority and it is for the public. This is what they are trying to portray.
And
But
what do you think will happen? Do you think it will be successful or disaster? Or can you not say?
It is going to be a disaster for the banks, because until now banks were using their own payment apps and other things. And now the funny thing is going to happen that central banks are going to enter into the market with their own apps now. CBDC means that only, right? So,
but then what's the difference between Indian rupees today and this new CBDC? What's the difference?
See, basic difference is going to be, until now, RBI was only communicating with the banks.
That's Royal Bank of India.
Yeah. That is a Reserve Bank of India. So similarly, you can consider Federal Reserve, you can consider any other country's central bank. So they were communicating with the government and with the banks directly. Okay, they had no relation whatsoever with a normal individual like you and me. Okay, now what is going to happen through CBDC? They will launch their own payment mechanisms and they will launch their own apps. These apps you will be able to install on your phone, and you don't need your X bank or Y bank. You are directly communicating with your central bank. So this
are you saying that they're saying the central bank will mean that you won't need it will?
Yes.
Oh, no, actually, I'm a bit confused. You have to say that again. I didn't understand.
The smaller banks might be out of business. Some of the smaller banks. That's what I feel right now.
So what's the purpose? Is this to kill the smaller banks?
Maybe that is the purpose.
But are people in the crypto community confused about what it's doing?
The main purpose is to have more control over citizens.
Yeah.
More control over the banking system, more visibility to the transactions. And of course, right now also the digital payment mechanisms can be stopped within seconds, right? The Russia attacks Ukraine, Central Bank of Ukraine announces within minutes that all the financial transactions which are happening digitally are going to be stopped.
Oh, really?
Then what happened? Yeah, that's what happened. Exactly, this is what happened. And the government itself, they start asking for donations in crypto. So this is a lot about how capable crypto is, and we really need some decentralization now. We have been living in this centralized system since at least around 200 years. It's not older than that. Humanity is a lot older than the central banking system and the fractional reserve banking that we are seeing right now. And it used to be a scenario where there were at least 1,000 different currencies were actively being used in United States at the same time.
And what about in India? I mean, did India used to have many different currencies?
No, I don't think so. See, India had different currencies when we had different dynasties in India. Okay. So there were different royal dynasties, and every dynasty had their own currency. And they were always being priced, or rather valued, as per the performance of that particular dynasty. Along with that, later on, what happened? The quantity of gold or the quantity of silver inside that particular coin decided the value against other currencies.
Okay, and then England came along and stole everything and put one currency. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. We were looted for at least 300 years. Yeah. And we lost a lot of gold and Kohinoor also. But let's see how we make better things now.
I read somewhere that if England had to pay back the money they stole from India, it would be minimal $45 trillion.
Yeah, my father used to tell me, my father and my grandmother, both of them used to tell me story that they had my great grandfather and other people. They used to tell us that, rather through the generations, this has come down to us, that there were around 3 to 4 ships full of gold and pearls and diamonds and other precious things, moving from India to England every week.
Oh, wow. Wow,
Yeah.
it doesn't surprise me.
Roadside vendors who sell something like a very cheap stuff. There used to be a roadside vendors selling gold in India.
Oh wow.
Earlier days, it was so common to buy gold on roadside from roadside vendors. We had so much gold. But even
we
now,
took it all. England took it all. Not me. Yeah.
In India, even right now, if you see many housewives, they wear a lot of gold, okay, and they also have a lot of gold anyways. So it is like a tradition, and it is like a culture to buy at least some grams of gold every good auspicious occasion. So we know what is money. Gold is real money.
Yeah, I think buying gold is a common thing in India. People then put it under the mattress and yeah. But now is that changing? Are people starting to buy Bitcoin instead, or is that only young people?
Sure, of course. What I did when I came across Bitcoin for the first time, I sold my gold chains. I sold some of some of the extra gold that I felt like, okay, let's get rid of this, and I started buying Bitcoin with that.
Oh, that was a good move.
And right now, I'm like, I don't have any rupees in my bank account normally. If I'm going outside and I feel like, okay, I'm going to spend like probably 5,000 rupees today, so I sell some Bitcoin, I get that amount into my bank account, and then I go outside. So
why don't you? And why don't you have rupees in your bank account? Is it because you don't trust the bank?
No, it's not that way. It's just that I trust crypto a lot more. And maybe just because I'm selling it 20 minutes later, I might have to sell less.
Okay, and what is the attitude in general in India towards crypto? Is it something that people, when you say you're in crypto, do people say?
Yeah, see. Do you know? Andreas Antonopoulos actually said this. So when you use the word B a lot, the letter B for blockchain, people are ready to shake hands with you. But when you say B for Bitcoin, they feel like you're talking about cocaine or drugs or guns or something like that. So even right now, also, there is a small percentage of people who think like this. But now, since there are a couple of unicorns in India who have become unicorns there is CoinSwitch Kuber, which is like almost $2 billion worth now.
Which one? Sorry, which one?
It is called as CoinSwitch Kuber.
Oh, CoinSwitch, yeah.
They became a unique. They are worth $2 billion, and the journey took 1.5 years. So it is one of the fastest unicorns out there. And now the people are like, okay, I feel bad about this. I really hate this, but I cannot express myself because everybody else is trading it. We have like 15 million customers for only CoinSwitch Kuber. 15 million customers.
I mean, I know that places like Zerodha, a lot of people trade on Zerodha.
Yes.
And people now who've traditionally traded stocks, are they starting to get into crypto?
Yes, that is happening. And I'm seeing this move in the last 1 year or so, that almost every damn person who is working in technology, he knows about cryptocurrencies. And I think almost 10% of people who are in technology already have bought it. I'm getting this feeling right now.
Okay, what have they bought? Have they bought altcoins or Bitcoin or?
Yeah, that is something which is a totally Indian mentality, that whatever is cheaper is better. So so they usually go with Shiba Inu and Dogecoin.
Shiba Inu, yeah.
Many people go with Ripple also. I'm not sure why.
With which one? Sorry?
Ripple.
Okay, yeah, XR, is that XRP, is it?
XRP token. Then BitTorrent is pretty popular. Basic attention token. People are afraid of Ethereum because exorbitant fees that they have to pay while withdrawing.
The gas fee. Yeah, but that's going to change soon, within a couple of years, I think.
Yes, that will change, yes.
And everybody, because now they're moving to proof of stake, and they're changing the way that the miners and validators get rewarded. So
Yes.
okay,
$30 billion worth of Ethereum already locked in the main contracts on the beacon chain. It's amazing to see.
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's amazing. Okay. Okay, can I also ask you, like, where do you think, like, actually, what do you think about Web3 when people say that? What do you think about that?
I'm super excited about Web3, then metaverse, then DAOs. I'm seeing so many DAOs are getting registered right now. DeFi, I'm still skeptical about DeFi because maximum hacks and maximum problematic situations that we are seeing since 2020 are 99% of those have happened in DeFi, right? So I'm still skeptical about DeFi because I really feel that smart contracts and smart contract auditing has to go a long way from here. So once that happens, then we can say Web3 is empowering. And like we will see things like real time deduction of amounts. My employee checking into the office at 9 a.m. and at 10:30 a.m. he walks towards the coffee maker, and he gets paid for that 1.5 hours before he reaches that coffee maker. So audits every 15 seconds, salaries every 1 hour. These are the things that can actually be enabled through Web3. But
so you think that it can actually, with Web3, it can actually enable that you can because the example you gave was, if someone wants to take a break, it doesn't mean they're not working. Yeah, I get most of my work done when I'm going to the coffee machine.
Of course. I'm not saying that he's not working, but he just happens to get up from his chair, and he's trying to go to the coffee vending machine, and maybe by that time he can get paid.
Okay, or at least I see what you're saying. You're saying that
this is just
token,
like
tokens can interact in the real world. That's what you're saying.
Yes, that is one part of it, and the other part is this is Web3. It is going to be a bi-directional channel, right? So until now we only have information flowing on our Web 2.0. Now we will see information going from me to my customer, and money or whatever token you are talking about, it is coming to me at the same time. These two are going to be streamed. Okay, so this is where a lot of things will change.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think that's interesting.
But smart contracts need to slightly mature after this, maybe a couple of years at least.
It's funny because I always think of Web3 as literally MetaMask, and it means you don't need a login for every site. And
that is of course one of the things.
And at some point, people have to figure out how to do ID. Because my biggest pain point on the web is putting my name and my details in 1 million times a day. Yeah. And it's just pointless. I'd rather just say connect with MetaMask, say give it my name, address, and this, done in 5 seconds instead of half an. Yeah. The fact is, whenever I have to enter my details on the web and it sends me a confirmation email, the process ends up taking like half an hour or an hour because I get so sick of it. I go and get a cup of coffee and come back, and it should be like a few seconds.
See what the architecture that we are using for everything in the world right now, they're all designed like concentric circles. Okay, there is a central point of control or authority, and there are like smaller circles which are the control groups, maybe the management, and the circle gets bigger and bigger, and probably we are outside the circle. So every time we need to do something with any of the system, let it be healthcare, let it be traveling, let it be banking system, let it be stock markets, whatever it is, whatever thing you want to do, you need to prove that you're worth it, or you have the authority to get into the next zone inside. So whenever you cross that border, you need to prove that you belong there. And this is the idea that we need to break away from.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, because at the moment you have to show your ID, depending on if your passport is Indian or UK or something else, you're treated differently. Right. But if you show your wallet, your MetaMask or some other wallet which shows what you've done, then you can get treated equally. It's equality. Yeah, I agree with that.
That is that can be really empowering if we can focus on it.
Okay. So I know we've talked for a while. So what other topics would you like to bring up before we close off? Is there anything you'd like to promote or discuss, or how people can find you? And just remember, some of the listeners will be audio only, so we have to spell it out if there's any.
Sure. So the main project that I'm working on right now is greenhashes.org. So it is greenhashes.org. Okay. And greenhashes.org, our goal is purely to build a society, or to build a method, or to build a way for sustainable development through responsible mining, along with carbon capture capacities, reforestation activity to a very large scale, and incentivizing green actions. So these are basic goals that we have, and our products of our operations are going to be cryptocurrencies, which are going to be mining outputs, electricity, there's going to be carbon credits, then carbon fiber, or artificial diamonds. So these are all the products that we will be making, and it is going to be very much operational by 2023. We are trying to build a carbon negative mining farm in Wyoming, USA. But this is pretty early stage right now. We will be beginning, or rather we have already begun with our private pre-sale. But it is usually, if you want to inquire about it, please reach out to us at enquiry@greenhashes.org. So that's about it. And along with all these projects and educating people, I'm also involved in some other projects. So like recently, we actually helped Pune Marathon become world's first marathon powered by blockchain technology. So every participant, all the sponsors, all the tech partners, and all the volunteers, everybody is going to get a NFT certificate sponsored by shreecrypto.com. So shreecrypto.com is another initiative that I'm handling, and our goal is to educate people. My goal is by 2030 is to educate at least 500,000 people in cryptocurrencies. Right now I stand at 3,500. So it is going to be a pretty hell of a ride, because we need to step up our game now. So it is shreecrypto.com. So shreecrypto.com, you can visit if you have a good idea and you feel like, okay, because of the current regulatory system or legal system or taxation system, you're not able to launch your project properly. So we can help you launch your project very well in a jurisdiction which is crypto friendly, and we can do it from A to Z. So simply from the ideation phase, we can take you up to the exchange phase and even further if you want. So that is shreecrypto.com. And recently, I also helped launch India's first metaverse plus physical reality real estate project. It is called as Vanya. It is from the beautiful city of Bengaluru. And I'm also thankful for such a sweet opportunity by Reddy family, who have trusted us with this conversion and connection between physical reality and metaverse project.
How do you spell that, by the way?
WANYA. Vanya. I think it is vanya.in. So it is still in the making.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll share some details.
Yeah, I can post the links in the show notes as well.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So
what my goal right now is with Shree Crypto, and along with that, we also founded one more company in USA. It is KNW Decentralized Innovations LLC. So this is also pretty early stage startup, and we are trying to come up with metaverse solutions, NFT solutions, tokenization of land assets, all these solutions for the governments and for the real estate sector also. So this is also going to be something that you want to keep an eye on. I will keep. I've not yet updated these things on any of the social media or LinkedIn because these are pretty fresh projects.
Okay. But yeah, we'll once after this we can post. You can send me the links and I'll put them in the show notes. Okay, so
Sure.
it was very good to talk to you today, and I learned something about ESG and Bitcoin mining and carbon capture. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Zubair. This has been a pure pleasure.
Thank you.